I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around. I've drawn an arrow and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his ass.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona,
2 years ago. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Craig Savage, and with me as always is Daniel Cody and Charlie Betts. Well, how's your week been, guys? Well, I say how's your week been, but we've got some breaking injury news.
Oh, no, it wasn't really breaking. I did it on Tuesday. I've got
certainly broken the skin, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So
I like that. Well done, you.
I've got like a cut above my eye. I can put it on Twitter. I think I can put it on Twitter maybe after.
You can show your face.
But basically, I opened the car door on my head, and I subsequently split my sort of eyebrow with a bit above it, which doesn't. It's not very long cut, but it goes quite deep.
I mean, if you're going to put a picture on Twitter, you want to make it sound a little less dramatic.
No,
yes.
so I did genuinely. I don't.
People, he's going to look like Harry Potter for the next few months.
No, so I went to A&E on a Tuesday morning, which is quite quiet actually. So if there's ever a time to get injured, not that I recommend it, but Tuesday mornings are probably not the worst. And they got some skin glue, glued it together. But it was quite embarrassing because I walked to work. It's about half an hour walk, and my school that I work at is on the top of a hill. Mm-hmm. So I was halfway up the hill when a colleague of mine drove past, and he said, "Oh, do you want a lift?" And I knew I should have just said, "No, I'll walk the last bit." I mean, I'm literally like 3 minutes from school. I'm at the top of Russell Rise. All right, I've got to the bit where it bends.
Yeah.
All right? So I thought, nah, it's Tuesday, it's a bit drizzly, I'll get in there. I've literally just opened his van door and it's gone smack straight in my head. And I don't even know how I did it, I must have leapt forward, but blood pissing out me, honestly, it was a nightmare. I look like I've been punched, like, it's just been a lump, honestly, it's awful.
And that little pathetic scratch you've got now.
No, I know, that's the thing.
Picture, isn't
It looks so bad.
You will not believe the amount of blood that came out of that little cut, honestly, it was so deep.
Worse than a paper cut than you.
No, I'll be honest, all joking aside, it was borderline worse than a paper cut, it wasn't much more. But due to workplaces being scared now of, all different lawsuits,
if there's any fear of there being glass in your body, you have to go somewhere. You have to go to A&E, unfortunately.
So yeah,
that's the way the world works.
Well, yeah. So that's me, but I'm sure there's been other stuff that's happening.
Charlie Betts killing the NHS this week. Carry on.
Sorry, how much does it cost for me to go there just
as soon as you walk in, £89.
There you go, £89
so
for that. That's 89 quid.
Once you've had a procedure, you're in the hundreds.
You ruined Cody's week, filling up all these details.
I can't get a doctor because you've spent your money getting fucking glass out your face because you can't watch the door.
Did you go? So I heard you've got a bit of an injury front as well.
I have. We're not going to mention it too much because I don't have any physical scars I can show on Twitter. But I was washing my hair yesterday and I got neck strain somehow.
Did you go to the doctor and weigh £89?
I didn't. Do you know what I did? I took some paracetamol and went to bed. Because, I'm not here to mug off the state. So there we go.
There was blood. I drew blood. Okay,
let's move away from injuries because we've all proven we're injury prone.
Yeah.
I've got one more slight rant I'd like to have this week.
Go on.
Before we start, you may mention a few weeks ago I had a little rant about Phil Tufnell. In relation to my guilty pleasure, which is watching the Big Bash. So I'm still about a week behind. So the events that I'm talking about this week probably happened last week in terms of being watching. Okay, so who turned up last week? Michael fucking Vaughan turned up.
Oh, come on, he's in England.
No,
surely.
Hang on. So you've got the Aussie lads having a bit of a laugh and whatever. If you've ever heard Michael Vaughan commentate, he's very matter of fact. He likes to explain the fielding positions in perfect detail.
Is he like a cricket version of Craig? In the sense of he loves the little nuances and niche parts of it. And
he's a why are you having a laugh, I can see the positioning. Exactly. That sort of that. Maybe we should have called the podcast that, eh? But I wanted to bring this back. I've done a little bit of research now and found what the problem is and why these guys are all turning up during the Big Bash is because of Talk Sport.
Oh no!
So Talk Sport, obviously you may know last year if you're a semi-casual cricket fan or even a sports fan, they stole the rights from TMS or won the rights because they outbid TMS to take over the overseas tours for England.
Yeah.
As a result...
Sorry, that's Test Match Special, Craig.
Test Match Special.
He didn't know.
I did. Did you see?
Go on.
So boycott. Come on.
So Test Match Special, I'm sure he'll be there next week, in which case I'm happy.
Yeah.
But Test Match Special, because none of their pundits, their analysis and commentators have a job anymore, they're all going over to the Big Bash and ruining my fucking mornings.
Oh, because they knew that you're going to be listening.
So indirectly, TalkSport have done you over again.
Because they put all the shit people out of a job who are brilliant for Test match cricket. They're perfect for that, but they are too boring for T20 match.
Too boring for T20.
And, you know, there's a reason our country hasn't got a great T20 league and that we're not exciting people because we're boring old farts. Get them out of the Big Bash.
I don't think that's going to happen, Cody.
One more, I'm turning off.
And now it's time for Ramble of the Week. I'm going to start with Scotland. And Cowden Beef was supposed to play Rangers in the Scottish Cup.
Please don't say you're going to slag off Rangers again. We've
Absolutely.
had enough.
No.
I stand with the viewers. We will
No.
not slag off Rangers.
Hello, Greeny. No, it's got nothing to do with Rangers, actually. Obviously, Cowden Beef had their game called off. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to play last Friday.
Frozen pitch.
Frozen pitch. Do you know what they tried to use to warm up the pitch?
Hairdryer.
Cows.
A car! That's good, I like that.
So there's a corner of the pitch that was a bit frozen, so they just got a car just driving over it. So they used the heat from the engine to try and warm it up.
With the greatest respect, could they not have got 3 or 4 and done the whole pitch at once?
Yeah.
I think it was only that corner. I could be wrong, but they tried, it failed, and they have to. And that was supposed to be play on TV as well, so they lost out on the Friday night.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Supposed to be on Premier Sports, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, they lost out. And I thought it was quite funny to try to use a car, but it failed.
Did you see actually in that cup, that Scottish Cup, the biggest upset was, I'm going to try and say this,
Go on.
Auckland Lech Talbot. Did you see that?
Yes.
They're a higher league team.
Yes,
They beat
I know,
Ayr,
yeah,
who were top of
yeah,
the championship
yeah.
1-0. Now got a game against Hearts.
I expected worse when you started that.
No,
Yeah,
did you?
so did I.
I said that Auckland Lech Talbot. I don't know.
Don't worry.
You're only making it worse.
Excellent. Well done then. Moving on. Charlton got a good last minute 1-0 win against Accrington Stanley.
I did.
Well, start with Accrington Stanley. Very disgraceful player behaviour. Trying to push get to the line, hiding in the corner of when they gave away a penalty.
Wouldn't be the first time this season, would it?
No. I think they're terrible. Right, but moving on. Charlton scored the last minute penalty. Mm-hmm. And then obviously some fans ran onto the pitch. All the Charlton players started celebrating together.
I saw this. Yeah. How did I not write this in my notes?
One of the Charlton fans slipped, kicked one of the Charlton players in the
cleaning the
regions.
bollocks, wasn't it? Cleaning the bollocks.
So, cleaning the bollocks, as Cody might say.
I
And he
didn't
went
see
down
this.
injured. He went down rolling
It was
around.
everywhere. A slide tackle.
Brilliant.
He slipped from about 10 yards away and just went flying in. Like all the players were another. We went flying in, straight in the bollocks in the right route, studs in and everything. I mean,
It was fucking brilliant. I absolutely loved it. He
But
rolled
on a slightly footballing note, for the first time today, Charlton up to 4th place and challenging towards that top of the league now.
Okay.
I'm going to be right. I'm going to be right.
You're right, they're going to make it through. A couple of championship things. Obviously, Ashley Cole now officially got a derby, which I think is coming. John Obi Mikel to Middlesbrough.
What a story. One of the best holding midfielders of our generation. Underrated.
No.
I do wonder.
Woeful.
Just because it's quite a well-known fact that to get lads to play in the North East, you probably need to pay them a bit more and stuff like that. I would love to know what he's on to go to Middlesbrough because he's only 31.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're going to have to really.
I don't want to be rude. I think he's earned a lifetime of money in China over the last.
Well, yeah, no, but that's what I mean. But still, exactly. So he's not going to go for a silly amount of money, is he?
I'm sure he got loads of money at Chelsea anyway.
Can I talk about Northampton Town, Craig?
Absolutely.
And the only reason I'm saying it to you, Craig, is because did you know that 2 years ago, a ex-#United player
was
picked up by Cambridge and now made his Football League debut for Northampton the other day.
Good for the bloke. I don't care about #United.
But that now blows your sort of hatred. You know, you said they're just a Mickey Mouse team full of YouTubers and all of this, and one of them is now a professional footballer, Craig.
And as I just said, I'm happy for the bloke. I don't care about the team.
No, it's a good story. I mean, he's
fair
only
play
young
to
stuff,
the lad.
but,
I give him credit.
But
It's a good thing, genuinely, that players can make it from non-league
Yeah,
and beyond
exactly.
because they weren't even a team at that point.
no, that's true. Actually, yeah,
That is
in
true.
a licensed
That is
side,
true.
so-
the irony was he played in that Wembley Cup in front of 30,000 people, and yet he made his debut the other day in front of 3,000. But anyway, there you go.
have
It's not a real cup though. Fuck's sake.
You have to take it a bit like, you know when they did that like Football's Next Star programme?
Oh, gosh,
The
that
Vaughan
Wayne
Academy
Rooney,
and all
Wayne
of them,
Rooney
yeah.
thing,
It's just
yes.
like one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, fair play to the kid.
Yeah, well done.
MK Dons, Dean Lurton, 600 appearances he's made now.
Club legend.
Club legend, yeah.
Is that just for MK?
No,
or
because
for
he's
both?
obviously started at Wimbledon and then
the real Wimbledon.
The real Wimbledon.
The real Wimbledon.
Why didn't he go to the real Wimbledon when they reformed?
Good question.
That's a
Good
very
question.
Question.
I
And you
was
should be
thinking-
more angry about that than bloody hashtag bloke.
No, because I don't like Dean Lewin anyway. I like Ray. Ray's good lad. Locked in.
Fair enough. I don't know where that's going to take us. Do you want to do another one, lads? Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the National League. Obviously, there's been some few managerial changes in the...
And there's one big one, isn't there?
One big one, and it's going to be John Still is back in football management. He recently retired.
He didn't really want to retire. He just
didn't.
wanted to stop you two winning your
He
predictions.
just wanted to get out of Barnet, didn't he?
So John Still is at Maidstone, so back at one of his former clubs.
I mean, taking
again.
it aside, it's a brilliant appointment.
And
with the combination of Hakan as well.
Hakan Harita.
So just to clarify,
Yes.
sorry, because I only read it briefly, is John Still director of football? Or is he the manager?
John
He's
Still
the
is the
manager.
manager. Hakan's number 2, and Simon Walton now warming up for the
He's a
future
player
job.
coach.
Right.
Yeah.
So Hakan
Hayreton.
has left
Has left Braintree.
What, one place below?
Yeah.
Bottom.
Braintree bottom, yeah. So the assistant manager, Danny Seal, maybe that could be wrong. He's new.
You're correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Sound more confident.
Yeah, I wasn't. He's now taken over as the Braintree manager. Darren Curry's still obviously the Barnet manager. And
Doing okay there.
Yep, and also in the National League, Craig Hignett has swapped with Richard Money as the new Hartlepool manager, and Richard Money's now the director of football.
Okay. What's the point of that, by the way?
Well, I think
Could they not have
Hignett,
put him in the right role to
they
start
played
with?
better football on Hignett than they did with Richard Money, and then they thought, oh, we'll make that swap. And they...
Well, you don't deserve 2 chances, I'm afraid.
On the National League, I kind of think we're a slight jinx because we did a very small piece on Gary Johnson last week.
Yeah,
about all
I
that.
think that's Cody's
Lost
fault.
3-2 to Bath on Saturday.
I think we...
Bath were 2-1 down in that game. Brilliant
Oh
result.
yeah, brilliant result from him.
Yeah.
And in fairness to Gary Johnson, if you look at his comments, he was quite open about that they were well beaten and stuff like that. So
To be fair, the fact that he joined in mid-September, late September,
yeah.
and that's their first defeat, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly. I think 16 games.
let's not worry too much about it.
No.
They'll be
16 games unbeaten.
And it's not like Billericay are going to be catching them, is it? With the circus that continues, so let's move on.
I'm going to move on down the National League pyramid. Wingate and Finchley, they've sacked manager Glenn Little, former Reading.
Oh right,
sacked him. And I'm going to read the statement from Wingate.
I love a reading of a statement.
Right.
Was Nicky Shorey not there?
Was he an assistant?
I thought they went there together.
Yeah.
But Nicky Shorey went after like 4 games or something random like that. I'll check that, I'm sure, yeah. I might have just pulled one out of the bag.
If you've got a non-league fact that's actually correct, then, you
carry on. I'm gonna research this, you carry on.
Okay.
We should have likes on the video just for that.
Just for Charlie's...
Carry on.
Right, so after parting company with former boss Glenn Little last week, the Blues are throwing themselves straight into the world of modern technology by handing power to artificial intelligence.
Oh, for goodness sake.
God.
What is this?
The
For the first time, the human job is going. Officially.
The revolutionary technology will analyse information inputted by the club's coaches to select Wingate's starting lineup and tactics for their
this is becoming
against relegation rivals Whitehawk at the start of February.
This is going to be like the NFL where they sort of
Relegation rivals Whitehawk. They're down at the bottom again.
He did manage Wingate and Finchley! Yes! No, go on.
Charlie interrupting the episode with confirmation of his random facts.
Well done, Charlie.
No, go on. So it's based on numbers, so like algorithms.
You've got your one for the year out in January, I think.
That's it. I know, yeah, I've gone too early. Is that essentially what it is, though? It's like algorithms.
Current manager Dave Norman
mate.
told the Press Association it's been very interesting having an artificial intelligence system working alongside coaches at grassroots level, trying to develop a knowledge and understanding of the game, helping and aiding decision making. It's not going to change football practice. It's not going to take the place of the manager. It's not going to take place of the coach. But what it can do
is take the place of the manager and the coach, because it's going to pick the team and coach the players.
What it can do is support infrastructure and technological changes which we've seen over the past 10 years.
Well, I don't mean to be rude. If the manager was picking the team and the AI is now picking a team, they've taken his job.
Yeah,
with the greatest respect.
And surely the AI is only based on whatever data you put in.
So
it
it's
can only work on
It'll
whatever.
be like GPSs and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got 2 points to make on this.
Go
One
for
of them might surprise you a bit. Is that not pretty similar to what most clubs have in terms of data analysis? Because the manager will use that to pick the team largely. All they're saying is that they're going to go with what it says rather than tweak it with their own eye, because they haven't got anyone competent enough to do it, which is fair enough.
But one thing, and this is obviously a very cliche debate, but one thing that you cannot do as a computer is assess that, oh no, so-and-so's wife has just left him, or he's behind on his mortgage payments.
The emotions,
exactly.
the psychological
and although he
side.
might have just, the previous game, scored a hat-trick, the fact is he's in no mental state to be playing today. A computer can't do that. It can't assess that and input that data.
You know,
Do you
It
know
might
what I mean?
not be available.
No, but I'm just saying.
Could be a quick one.
He's got to work an extra shift. You know what I mean? At that level, but I'm just saying the point is.
Maybe they've got like a spreadsheet and they could put like working at Tesco. I wanted to make another point on that, which is about 2 or 3 months ago. when I was playing Football Manager and Charlie said, it's all algorithms, it doesn't matter. Well, there you go. First
Exactly,
step
there
in.
it is.
I might as well take charge.
Really quickly, just going back to Scotland. Raith Rovers, their game was cancelled midweek. Do you know why? Because they had a fireworks display on their pitch and it's ruined the pitch.
Oh, for God's sake.
I mean, how
Don't
stupid...
I want to put a sheet down first?
No, that's exactly what
Why in January?
Well, I don't know. Some sort of celebration.
It is Burns night.
Well, no.
Well,
was that 6th?
It's tonight.
Oh, is it tonight? Oh, okay.
At the time we're recording, it's a Friday.
Well, either way, they had some sort of pyrotechnics on the pitch, and it's ruined the pitch. And yet they're surprised by that when you're talking about a lower.
Even like if a local council does it, they put a sheet. Do you know what I mean? In a local park, it's not hard work.
The thing is, though, they did it in all four corners of the ground, so none of it's playable. So it's just
stupid idiots.
Anyway, carry on.
In January.
Carry on.
Let's go around the world. The Copa America. The
Oh,
tour
right,
has
yeah,
just been made. Well, yesterday.
Right.
The two, obviously, there's only 10 teams, but obviously they invite 2 teams every time. This time it is Japan and Qatar.
I saw that, yeah, because it's usually Mexico and Costa Rica.
Yes, it's the first time.
I think it's to balance it
Mexico
up. So
hasn't been in it.
they don't have 2 groups of 5. They have 12.
Can I tell you
teams,
why
don't
it is? Who's hosting the next World Cup?
they? Yeah, exactly. That is. Yeah. That's
And to
Go.
be fair, Qatar did beat South Korea in
Yes,
the
they
Asian
did.
Cup.
They did.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. I saw
So-
that, yeah.
And Australia are out. They lost to UAE.
So
Vietnam got beat as well.
Oh, did they?
there's going to be some strange foreign lists in that
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah. So
But it's good to see new teams up there.
Well, I can
genuinely.
sort of understand Copa America in terms of locality. I mean, I know they're not technically in South America. Mexico's not a million miles away. I mean, Japan to South America. It's just going to be chaos.
That might be one of the longest flights in the world.
No, exactly. Do you know what I mean? It is like.
Really?
Well, if you go the way of the map.
Yeah, but if you go the other way, you won't.
I don't know. That Pacific Ocean's huge. Like,
So
Let's give up on geography. It's never worked. We leave the geography to Charlie's African Chronicles.
Yeah.
which I can bring up in a minute, but I've got a couple of
But so the groups are Group A: Brazil. Is it hosted by Brazil, by the way? Brazil, Bolivia, Venezuela, and Peru. Group B is Argentina, Colombia, Paraguay, and Qatar. And Group C is Uruguay, Ecuador, Japan, and Chile. But it's also,
Group C is very
Group C is
even.
yeah, it's the
Oh,
last
yeah.
time it's going to be held by an odd number.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to level out at the same time as the European Championships.
Oh, fair enough. I
It
like
seems
that.
to be that we said that about the African one as well. They're changing that. You know, it's all going
I mean, I guess it's just gearing towards the big leagues, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
giving them a summer off every 2 years.
yeah,
so-
exactly.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Fair enough.
Salford. Did anyone mention that about?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I've
Apparently,
got a comment to make on it.
Apparently,
Bex is back.
the non-publicity stunt that is David Beckham buying 10% of Salford. So
There's
you know,
nothing wrong with that.
And the non-publicity stunt of off-the-field directors doing a live social media press conference for a non-publicity stunt chairman taking 10% of the club. A minor stakeholder.
What's your problem?
When most clubs employ a minor stakeholder,
What's
the
your
most
problem?
you see is a 4-line press release on the website, not a live press conference, and David Beckham's here, and you know.
David Beckham. You're not going to get some guy that's owned a corner shop.
I mean, look, I've said my views on Salford. Many people share it, and a few people disagree.
what
so
his thing
good
is,
luck.
what happens when Beckham goes? Hey, that's what it
Beckham's
all
got
goes.
tell you
time
what,
to sort out.
As soon as he gets his Miami FC over the line, off he
Oh,
fucks.
it's
Off he
Inter
fucks.
Miami.
Off he fucks.
Oh, well, whatever. That whole thing is a joke. I mean, I didn't realise. You know, in American football, they do that draft. I had no idea they do this for the football teams over. You know, the MLS.
Yes.
They have a combine. So in the NFL,
Oh yeah, it's draft. All
Yeah.
drafts. is
yeah,
draft.
it's
It's
all
all franchise, that's
But
why.
the NFL's all done on like how quick they can run a 40-yard dash. You know, all these agility things. For the MLS combine, they basically just played friendlies and then picked up a load of data of how much they'd ran and all of this. And then they were like doing picks for it. It was the most
There's
ridiculous thing
so
I've
do you think-
ever
There's a
seen.
first team draft, and then there's like an Adidas Next Gen one or something.
That's it,
with
yeah.
all the
It's,
football.
it's the most complicated, unnecessary.
Even that in American sport, even that's sponsored.
It's shocking.
Well, I'm sure they'll get one game finish. You'll get the data from that.
So get some free deodorant.
Free children from the Christmas pack.
I've got a bit of a story about a team in Mexico. It starts a little bit dark, but it shows. No, it does show how.
You do this
much-
every week.
No, I know. But, you know, we need to tell the people about what's going on in the football world. So there's a team called. The team's called Jurez FC.
Okay.
But they used to be called. I can't even pronounce this. Ciudad Jurez, which actually was the murder capital of the world at one until you know. But the point being is that their local football team has now made it into the Mexican Premier League, which can be a bit choice in Mexico because some places.
That league's weird. How
Well,
they set it
yeah,
up,
but it's right on the border with America, and obviously you've got this whole Trump wall.
Trump
etc.
wall,
But basically, since they've joined into the Mexican Premier League, the crime rate in that city, which was the murder capital of the world, has drastically gone down. So it's actually, in a way, I know we talk about football being a way of bringing communities together, but by the looks of it, it has actually. I mean, they're a tiny club as well. They reformed in 2012. It does look as if it could actually start to be used not just for the football, but
there's something to look forward to in the city.
Exactly, and almost less animosity between people. A way of unifying them. That's the way I was looking for.
Well,
I know it started a bit dark, but
we say this time and time again. Football is for everyone.
Yeah, it is. But I know we make a laugh and a joke about it. But actually, if you talk about sort of crime and life and death, essentially, football can save that. It just shows you how powerful it is, and it is a bit frustrating then when we hear all these stupid stories about other stuff that goes on.
Transfer rumours.
Yeah, transfer
in
rumours.
the middle of September when no transfers can be made.
No, exactly. Or, Craig, I was hoping you'd talk about the step 3 and 4 changing room debacle.
Yes, it's a fucking joke.
We're going basically from the brilliant side of football to now the ridiculous side of football.
And who's bringing the ridiculous side of football? The English FA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so at the moment we're hearing that 40 clubs could go get relegated.
So is it to do with changing room sizes?
Yes. So apparently they've been told for 3 years ago that you need to obviously expand your changing rooms.
From 12 square metres to 18 square metres.
But here's the thing.
Or square feet, is it? 18 metres seems a lot.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you was a team that was in step 5 or 6 at that time when they released all this,
you wouldn't have got that information.
Exactly, you would never got that information.
And due to the fact that 3 or 4 clubs come up each year, that's a lot of teams that won't have got that information.
And the fact they're creating a new league for that step doesn't really fucking work for me.
Honestly, they're just trying to. I honestly think in some ways they're trying to subtly phase this sort of stuff out.
We talk about all the things that are so wrong in football. We talk go to the top level, things like diving and things like that, where the FA still haven't got anything in place. And then we're talking at this level that they've got the time to write a blueprint for what size your dressing room should be for the referee. Yeah. And then enforce it and demote potentially 40 clubs. Again, we talk about the communities. What's going to happen when they're in the lower division?
Spot on.
And when the teams come up, the 40 teams that have to come up to replace them, they're not going to be able to do it in a fucking year, are they?
No.
Well,
and they won't have got the information this year because they're in step 5 and 6.
And they talk about these grants. I don't know in your line of work. I mean, I've only done it a couple of times. Have you ever actually applied for a grant? You know, they're saying
it's a football stadium.
But have you ever tried to apply for a grant?
Have you ever tried to get one within 12 months?
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Have you ever tried to apply for a grant? There's, mountains. I'm not exaggerating. Mountains of paperwork. The turnaround on it is so slow that unless you do it almost instantly once you get the paperwork, it's just ridiculous.
They're saying go through the football stadium infrastructure fund.
Yeah, but again, that's funneling them into one company who's probably going to charge through the nose because they can charge.
I want to make a point on this is that they're saying you can apply for a grant and things like that, and I believe for each club it was up to 150,000 over a 5-year period you can apply for football stadium infrastructure. Okay, so why aren't they spending it on the football stadium in terms of the supporters, the people who actually come and watch the games and support it? Secondly, and perhaps most importantly, if they're giving 150 grand to each club for that, but they're not providing pitches that kids can play on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, get your priorities right.
Yeah, and that's where
you're essentially paying a Premier League footballer for every club.
I think they're relying slightly on the what's the word? Not the laziness, a complete wrong word, but the fact that clubs are run by volunteers essentially.
It's naivety, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're offering 150 grand. The likelihood of those 40 clubs applying for that, it's not going to happen. And for various reasons, that people are already holding down full-time jobs as well as trying to run a football club. You talk about people who maybe don't have experience of doing that sort of thing. I think it's all just a ticker box. It's all smoke and mirrors.
It's the same ridiculous. Old white men in suits.
Exactly.
Completely out of touch with the working class, with the community of football and the local communities they're actually providing it.
I mean, they've just got 825 million for selling the FA Cup to stupid o'clock, team kick-off times and stuff. No, but do you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. That's 825 million, which I know we're not spending straight away, but that's an example of it. If they can give 150 grand to clubs for stadiums, just give them 150 grand, let them do what they want with it, and then you might see an improvement in stadiums anyway.
Or allow them to spend it on the club infrastructure that supports the community rather than a referee's changing room, which is already adequate for 3 people. And I don't get it.
FA.
Come on.
No. FA, get your head out your asses. Leave the board meetings at Wembley. Come down to the local park pitches, outside London, anywhere around the country, and have a fucking...
You're not getting them outside London, mate.
Well, at least get out... Well, have a look at Wembley FC. They're dying because you try to sue them for...
It's crazy.
It's fucking joke. Anyway.
Can I talk about a couple of little trivial ones?
Go for it.
Only little ones. I thought, I better contribute a story at some point.
No, sorry.
It's a bit of the Me and Charlie show.
It's good. It's
good.
good.
We
last week.
Don't leave Charlie in charge anymore. I wanted to talk about a former Premier League star.
Go on.
Or failed star, we should say. Jose Antonio Reyes has joined a Spanish second-tier side after a little spell in China. So sort of the same as what John Obi Mikel's done. They are called Extremadura, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I know them.
But he's only 35. I thought he was about 40.
Yeah.
He must have joined Arsenal young.
Yeah, he was only 21 when he went to
Was he?
Arsenal.
Wait,
20, sorry.
Well, he left England in a bad shape because Gary Neville and Phil Neville completely smashed him.
Yes, which wasn't particularly pleasant.
Not nice.
It
But-
was nice. It was nice.
Talented player, back in his homeland, and hopefully he'll do well. And again, we talk about this when players come down to the lower levels. Yes, some can be disruptive, demanding lots of money and things, but also that can be a great influence on
Oh,
youngsters
yeah,
at the club.
definitely.
It's something that can really help youth development.
Yeah.
And in that country and Germany and most of the other big European countries by ourselves, they still give their kids a chance.
And bring in some good sort
There we
of
go.
exposure.
One more about a Premier League starlet of the current times. Not talking about his footballing side because we don't do Premier League. I just saw a little weird story from Shane Duffy last weekend. I don't know if you saw it
No,
from the
go
interview. He had a little superstition he was talking about,
Writings
which was
on the wall.
exactly.
Sorry.
We're not coming back from that, are
Stevie
we?
Wonder.
Oh God, right, God.
We're talking about a superstition that Shane Duffy, Brighton and Ireland centre half, has at away games.
What's that?
When he gets to an away game, when he gets there, often they've been on a coach ride. He needs the toilet.
Right.
Just a week.
I
Just
think
a
I
week.
heard,
just a
I
week.
think I heard this.
Picks the first cubicle that he fancies, and then sticks with that cubicle for the rest of the day, no matter what.
I like
So
Without
he'll
fail.
queue up for it even if the other ones are
So
free.
even if the other three are free and there are two people, there's someone in that cubicle, he will wait for that one.
That's quite interesting.
Oh, I like that.
Do you have any superstitions?
Everything has to go on my left.
Left first.
Left first.
You?
Don't think so.
No? My shirt had to go on last. That was about it, really. Oh yeah, but I think I might. Yeah, no, yeah.
I had enough to worry about when I got on the pitch.
Everything.
Like, am I going to start, or is Charlie West going to come out superstar? And then when I'm watching from the side, is Charlie West going to be scared of the sun?
That's
He's still bitter.
No.
We
been
will do a
5 years.
feature-length episode on that Sunday League game at one point in the future.
We will.
Oh, yeah,
the manager,
Ben's gonna
the
come on,
manager
isn't he?
will come on.
So-
Disgraced manager of the time.
There is one more. Well,
Yeah, I'm going to go to Turkey. Have you looked at Turkish league?
Yes, Fenerbahce
Fenerbahce, 2
struggling.
points off the bottom of the league, 4th from bottom.
So they've got
So,
all these stars.
well, that's the thing. So you talk about a team.
Similar to Monaco in France, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, and I think was Henri actually been sacked yet? I know he
that-
more or less
he's
has
more or
That's this
less,
morning.
yeah.
That's this morning.
Yeah, so basically they're on. You know, I think the likelihood of them going down is probably going to be quite slim. 'Cause there
You
is,
say that?
but they're only 2 points off the relegation zone. So you're talking about a team that used to have JJ Kocher, Pierre Van Hooijdonk, Nicolas Anelka,
Van
Roberto
Persie.
Carlos, Dirk Kuyt, Nani, Robin Van Persie. But they're basically struggling now. I mean, they've got.
Is Skirtle still there?
Well, that's the thing. They've got
There
some
you go, that's
big,
why
they've
they're
got some
struggling,
big
Martin
names.
Skirtle.
You look at the players they've got. They've got Martin Skirtle, Roberto Salgado, obviously of Spurs. Andre Ayew, on loan from Swansea,
he's
who
woeful.
was shocking. I mean, I watched
He's
him at West Ham.
terrible.
Islam Salah Smith, I can't even say his
Slimani.
name. Leicester's record signing, but he's now out on loan there. And Matteo Valbrena. And I
yeah.
think they've just signed, what's his name? Moses on loan.
Victor
today.
Moses, yeah.
Victor Moses.
Do you know what it reminds
And
me of? It reminds me of that year, I think it was 02-03, where West Ham were too good to go down.
Yeah,
They had
exactly.
all
Yeah.
those players.
Yeah,
And
I remember
it doesn't
that.
make a difference. Once you get in that rot, it's hard to get out.
Yeah, so they
They could do a line of Scaloni,
The
actually.
shut up. The chairman said, despite all those names, the chairman is adamant this is the weakest team they've had in 20 years. And I didn't realise Philip
They still
Cocu was...
got a load of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But Philip Cocu was manager, and they've gotten rid of him after 10 games. He lost 5 out of the first 10, so they
There
picked him
you
off.
go. It's not good.
Based on their season, 5 out of 10 is probably not bad.
No,
is it?
exactly. They've only played 16 games, I think.
Yeah, it's quite bad.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
But yeah, they're basically comparing that whole thing to Mourinho in the sense of, you know, the play,
shambles.
lost the dressing room, the whole thing's become a joke and all
Yeah.
that. So
Get all
yeah.
the Solskjaer in and
potentially,
they'll turn it around.
I think they're, how many times they won the league? Is it nearly
Loads.
19 times, going for their 20th this year, and yet they could
I don't think they're
potentially
gonna win it. I
No,
don't think
exactly.
they're gonna
make it.
No. So there you go.
Back to you, Craig.
Two more things for me. Former Borussia Dortmund player Jakub Blaszczykowski. I'll definitely.
I saw this. Brilliant story.
He's joined his boyhood club Wisla Krakow for
Okay.
free.
Right, no money.
No
at all.
money at all because they are struggling.
Don't know why I needed to clarify that. Free clearly means no money at all. But anyway, go on.
Well, yeah. So they're struggling. Obviously,
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, but I think he's pumping money in as well to help.
So he said he was paying for some of the wages and
Yes,
things, didn't he?
so-
And the appearance fees.
That's really good because I think, you know.
Yeah,
so-
he's contributing
to recognise
£300,000, €300,000. Sorry, of his own money to his sister club.
So just to, yeah, exactly, to recognise that how, yeah. That's
And again, not helping the football club as
No.
such, helping your local community.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
the club survives, people still have something to come to, that's great. Is it, you got one more, Craig?
Yeah, one more from me is that our favourite Championship manager player, Chano Samba, has got a book.
I mean, the thing is, the difference was, you know, like the Cherno Samba on championship manager ended up being the best player in the world or whatever. You know, Freddie Adu was given that, and then he ended up being crap. But Cherno Samba did have a bit of a career. He was lower league, admittedly. You know, I think he started out in like.
Well, to be fair, Freddie Adu had a bit of a career.
Well, yeah, but
he's still playing in the. Is it the second tier?
He's about 30 now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Cherno Samba, he's a bit of a byword for a flop.
I guess for you, that was probably your generation.
Yeah,
Freddie
exactly.
Adu was mine.
Yeah,
I was about 12.
But he had a bit more of a career than what people give him credit for.
Cherno Samba's still in the game. He's in Amazon. If you
Yeah.
get it, so try.
Fair play. African Chronicles.
Really, really quickly. There was a game in Egypt abandoned in the Champions League. Egypt have got a team called Pyramids FC. I mean, I think that's brilliant. Anyway,
What a great name.
But it was abandoned. People were throwing rocks on the pitch. There was no players on the pitch, but people were throwing rocks, and they couldn't clear it in the rate that the rocks were going back on the pitch. So they had to abandon the game.
They throw rocks and Bolton throw tentacles.
Security-wise, they sent people out to clear rocks while people were still throwing rocks.
So there you go. That's Egypt for you.
Health and safety, eh?
And
Who needs it?
Finally, I think it's quite an interesting debate to have if we've got a little bit of time for it. In Africa, there's 54 leagues in Africa, professional, semi-professional, within reason. You know, obviously we spoke about the way Africa.
Not a lot for a continent.
No.
We've got nearly that many in England for
Well, yeah, exactly.
More.
But
England, yeah.
you know, FIFA permits 2 transfer windows. None of them in Africa across the 54 countries open and shut on the same day. So it's
all over the place.
It's basically a wild west of transfers because obviously some open when others aren't and all of this. But
Is it because it's the same admin staff doing all 50?
Well, that's what I thought. But it basically
the same fax machine. There's one fax line in the whole of the continent.
The whole thing's out of sync, basically, and they're trying to say to unify it all. You know, let's just have a set transfer window for all the countries in Africa. But as you can imagine, without going too much into African politics, they're not going to agree. They don't want to agree because of previous histories of stuff and etc.
The unfortunate thing is that no one in the footballing side of things is going to get to decide that.
No, exactly. And actually,
sad.
I won't go too much into it, but the effect it has on the players, because they're just chopping and changing left, right, centre because of obviously.
It's like never a settled squad.
No, exactly. But then they can, you know, they can also work against the clubs to go, well, I can move to, I don't know, say they're playing in Zimbabwe, they can move to Zambia because the transfer window's still open there and it's not.
Where's my money? match it or I'm off. And then you've got you cannot replace me.
Exactly that, and that's the problem. But just to give you a little bit of, you know, like a few stats, do you know the total transfer of all of the African leagues last year? 16 million across all transfers. To give you a bit of context, obviously in South America 180 million across the year. Asia 452 million in transfers. This is US dollars, sorry. And obviously in Europe it was 5.6 billion.
Yeah.
And yet across the whole of Africa 16 million pounds spent on transfers.
That's really interesting. Because Charlie's been negative as normal, could I end on a really nice story? Because it's something I've been involved in so far this year. It's something that, as we record this, I did in the first 2 weeks of January during my trips away for Luton games.
All right, cool.
So it's nothing to do with the football itself. I got involved in playing football on a Sunday league sort of five-a-side thing. Now, don't worry about the competition.
No.
Don't worry about the competition because the story behind it is about community and it's really great. So the one I was playing in was in Leeds and there was also one in Manchester and things like that as well. It's St Pauli, the German side, obviously known for being quite community involved.
Oh right, yes,
and
yeah.
So they've got bases in the linked to the universities in Leeds and Manchester to help sort of refugees and people who are struggling to adapt to life in the UK.
Okay.
And they offer them like the opportunity to come and play football for free and provide kit and things like that. So for people like us, we can go along and play for £4 for the hour, which again, five-a-side down here, you can't get it for that anyway.
No.
But it's just a great community thing. You can go and play along. The 2 weeks I went, there's about 30, 40 people, fairly similar quality. Some were a bit unfit like myself. Some were perfectly in shape. The first week, I thought I was going to die after 20 minutes. The second week, I was fantastic. I scored one of the best back heels you will ever see. But either way...
Cody's nose has hit the microphone.
But either way, I just wanted to highlight the issue because it's a really great thing. You know, there's 10 or 15 kids, they can't speak much English, they're struggling to adapt in the country, and it just integrates them and allows them to do something they enjoy that unifies everyone for free. And it's another chance to say, football
is for everyone. Hashtag it.
And it's now time for Name the Matchday Squad. Now, I'm quite excited about this because I've done a topical question, okay? Just to really quickly clarify the rules, it is sudden death, where you name all of the 11 players who started the game and any subs who come on in a chosen fixture of mine.
Do you know what? I've got a game in mind that if you've been really clever I know what game you've picked, but I'm going to wait and see.
Okay.
I haven't got a clue.
Just based on what's happened in terms of the competition so far, in terms of scores and the
You've got
comeback.
to remember, yeah, I came 3 down.
No,
And Charlie started the comeback by gifting you a win. But
Yeah, no, so
No.
this I could not be more impartial with this game if I wanted to be.
Oh, God.
So, we're doing it slightly topical. Is the FA Cup 4th round this weekend?
Oh,
Yes.
no.
And everyone loves a cup upset, don't they, in the FA
no.
Cup
Yes.
4th
I
round?
know the game.
So,
know
I
the game.
thought we'll go back to the year 2013.
Yeah, I knew the game.
I don't know if you were at it, but when Luton beat
I were
Norwich,
at it.
I was
Luton
not
beat
at
Norwich 1-0.
Do you know how I know I was at it? Because it was snow, there was ice everywhere, there was a 20-minute walk to the ground, and I decided that it would be a great idea to wear a t-shirt and plimsoll.
There you go.
I
So,
was not at the game. I was watching it on the stream, and I did go mental.
so that's
Great
going to be
game.
our
Wasn't
fixture
it?
for today. Hopefully we'll see quite a few cup upsets this weekend
I
anyway.
mean, how there wasn't a 93rd minute penalty for Norwich for handball.
That was very true. But then
But-
again, who was the referee that game?
No idea. And that doesn't matter, does it?
No,
Oh,
so obviously Chris Hughton was manager of Norwich and Luton's manager was
Paul Buckle.
Paul Buckle. Okay, but that doesn't count for any points.
Not for many weeks
Not for
after
many
that.
No, no. Okay, so Luton were in the conference then, were they?
Yeah, they
Well,
were.
yeah,
They were
so
the
it's
It's the
a
first-
first non-league side to win away at a Premier League team for about 24 years at the time, I believe it was.
Oh, technically in a Premier League.
Excellent. Right, okay, so the score was obviously Luton 1, Norwich 0. It was on the 26th of January 2013 at 3 o'clock at Carrow Road. Referee was Andre Mariner.
Oh, that's it.
Attendance of 26,521, but
Oh, who cares about that?
played?
I bought a ticket and turned up.
I
Right,
couldn't go,
so,
to be fair. It was
Dan,
about
come on, because
6.
we're going to run out of time otherwise. Kick us
Cue
off,
the
mate.
music.
Cue the music indeed. I'm going to discuss the man who...
Just get on with it.
Basically, no, we're going to take this as long as possible because we're aware that
sorry.
Arsenal United has just kicked off.
Both teams made 3 subs as well.
Wonderful.
If that helps
It
you.
does, it does help the free subs for Luton, to be fair.
I'm going to talk about the man who should have given away the penalty in stoppage time, which was Nathaniel Rowe Turner.
Yes, he was.
He started, yes.
Very lucky.
War number 2 that day.
I'm going to go for the wrestler in Grant Holt for Norwich.
Oh, Grant Holt, come on, just after half time. I've got to be honest, I was looking at the starting 11 now. I'm surprised you gone straight in with a sub.
But will you remember who the starting striker was?
Yes, I do. I do know.
Good. Shall I get him out of the way?
It's up to
You
you.
can.
It's Harry Kane.
It's Harry
Harry Kane, yes,
Harry
yeah, he
Kane.
substituted after 46 minutes for Grant Holt.
That
I'll
made
tell you
him.
what, Nathaniel Rowe Turner kept him quiet, didn't he?
That made him that day.
Right,
Harry Kane.
Craig.
Mark Tyler.
Mark Tyler started in goal for Luton, yes.
Who's that guy? Oh, one of the goal.
Of course you know the goalkeeper. I'm going to go for the man who set up the goal, which was JJ O'Donnell.
Yes, he was.
JJ O'Donnell coming on as a sub after 68 minutes. Yes, he did.
I'm going to go for the guy that played him the ball before JJ O'Donnell. It was Stuart Fleetwood.
Stuart Fleetwood also come on as a sub after 75 minutes.
I remember far
Yes.
less of this than I expected.
So you've got 2 out of the 3 subs so far, which is quite impressive. Anyway.
Based on the way
I know the
that,
first up.
based on the way the game's worked, I'm going to go for the other centre half being George Pilkington. Did he not play?
No, it wasn't him.
Wow.
George Pilkington did not play.
No, it was Janusz Kovac.
Janusz Kovac! Unbelievably!
You mug!
Why did I go for that one? I've done your tactic. I had 4 or 5 in the back.
Well, Pilkington was in that club.
Oh, I don't know why I did that.
Unbelievably, against all of my predictions, Craig has now won, despite Dan being at the
Scott
game.
Rendell was the other sub.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
George
no.
Pilkington wasn't even on the bench.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was at the club.
Right, let's go through it. So, Norwich's team, you had Declan Rudd in goal, Russell Martin, Javier Garrido, Leon Barnett, Ryan Bennett, Johnny Howson, Andrew Sermon, David Fox, Elliot Bennett, Simeon Jackson, Harry Kane, as you mentioned. Subs who come on that day for Norwich, Anthony Pilkington, Wes Houlihan and Grant Holt. Subs who didn't come on, Mark Bunn, Stephen Whittaker, Michael Turner and Alexander Tete.
He was right about it making Harry Kane because he learned how to deal with cup failures, didn't he?
For Luton Town, obviously, you had Mark
Wait,
Tyler.
my cup fails or Harry Kane's cup?
Both.
Mark Tyler in goal, Nathaniel Rowe Turner, Greg Taylor, Janusz Kovacs,
Yeah.
Ronnie Henry,
Henry.
Jake Howes, Alex Lawless,
Smudger.
Armand Mendy.
Armand
I said that
Mendy,
right? Yeah.
wonderful.
Jonathan Smith, John Shaw, Andre Gray, your favourite player, Greg.
I don't think he played that game.
Great, yeah, he started. He should have got a penalty in the first half.
He come off after 75 minutes.
It was all a blur.
Coming off the bench was JJ O'Donnell, Scott Rendell, sorry if I said that right,
Rendell.
and Stuart Fleetwood. On the bench that day for Luton, didn't come on. Dean Brill, obviously goalkeeper. Dunstable legend Adam Watkins. and
St Joe's legend now.
That's St Joe's, yeah. James Dance and Matt Robinson. So that concludes it. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but Craig, you have now taken a lead.
It's like the old United way. They come from 3-0 down and get back to 4-3.
So based on what happens when you went 3-0 down, Charlie's got to be incredibly biased towards me next week.
I mean, that was
I thought I was slightly there. You were at the game.
It was such a blur. I don't remember anything but JJ O'Donnell putting a cross in and then me jumping up in the sky. So
I did scream my house.
and being very cold. That didn't help.
But there you go. Scores are 4-3.
To me. Happy days. And that's it for today's episode. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.